Daniel Douglas. Starts with c4. Hello, Daniel. And I will do my symmetric variation that I normally do. Where with the early d5, and he takes, which is the best move, and then I have to take here. I get into trouble otherwise. And then I can play e4 if he doesn't do anything on this move to prevent it. I mean e5. And have a nice clamp on the center with some weaknesses in the light squares, admittedly. So, aha. He attacks this pawn. This pawn push defends it. He's probably trying to provoke b6. And then there would be a problem with this guy. So he went for the d4 move. That's interesting. I'm going to take. He can take the bishop and ruin my castling chances. Maybe that's what he's counting on, but I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm going to play on. Now, do I want to take with the rook or the king? If I take with the... well, am I ever going to castle queenside? It's a question. If I take with the rook, I could still castle queenside. And if I take with the king, I can't. But the king is a little safer here. So, in fact, it puts the king on a dark square and his bishop is on a light square. So I just won a pawn at the cost of a slightly disrupted castle. Or a king position, I should say. It's not, I couldn't castle at all. I could castle by hand. 3 moves. But that also includes activating the rook. So it's not bad. Let's take with the knight and keep these pawns together. There's a check here if the queen moves. Or maybe I could just put my queen here. Or I could take his knight if he's going to play that. I don't especially want to take the knight, but what else is there? If I don't take the knight, he'll take, and I'll end up with an isolated pawn here, which is stopped by the e-pawn, so it won't be so great. I could also take the queen. Then I don't have a problem with my lack of castle. So all in all, I can't say I approve of the way he's played this. He wants to get a check in here. Yeah, maybe I should have blocked that. So he's going to win this pawn. And I don't want to give up that pawn either. Okay, let's bring this rook out. If he tries to check me with the bishop, I do have a pawn move. In fact, I might play that anyway, threaten to push this pawn and shut out his bishop. So what should he play here? I don't actually see a great move for him. He wants to annoy my bishop there, or maybe check my king. It was just covering this square. So he brought his rook in there. Actually does not help, right? This is attacked twice and protected. Okay, so I could push my pawn. He could put his bishop here. I take, he takes with check, and then this pawn is hanging. If I go here, and he does that sequence, then after the check, I can attack his pawn. Anyway, I have to start getting these pawns off the second rank there. Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't help. In fact, this leads to the situation I was trying to get with his completely closed off bishop. So he went back there. So this pawn is pinned. Let's see. Let's get rid of one of those rooks. It'll make it a little easier to defend my back rank here. So if he takes here, I can take back with the pawn. So let's go here. He can take that pawn, I can take his pawn, but actually he takes with check first and then moves this pawn. Okay, so save this pawn. Put the rook here. Okay, I need to unpin this pawn. If I I step up here, he can check me. I can block with the pawn, though, actually. Let's go ahead and march the king in. Now, I can step back here, I guess, or should I keep coming forward? Because this is defended. And there's the idea of check and then attacking his bishop. Or attacking this pawn if he moves the king away. So he pushed that pawn up just in time to move the king away. So should I keep coming forward? Oh, I could have taken that rook. Oh no. I should have done that. I should have done that. So well, I won a pawn anyway, but I missed a great opportunity. So I wonder where's the best place to put this bishop here? Maybe I'll just try and trade off that rook. And make that endgame easier to play. And yeah, this is a winning endgame, so no problem here. That was the wrong way to move, right? I just have to run him out of moves when he's forced to move this pawn or his king. Okay, this is one of those tricky situations. So I can go here, and then he moves his pawn. And I actually can't take it because then it's stalemate. But I can move my pawn forward. He can push, I can push, he can push, I can mate. Not falling for your trick, sir. Yeah, nice mate. So thank you. Let's see if we can get another game there. Maybe a rapid game this time. I'll try e4. 2041 Zimuha. Oh, I got an old Steinitz defense. Let's see how he plays it. It's kind of this kind of play has been seen recently. Push that knight around, get a somewhat weird looking pawn structure over here. But he's playing classically, just taking up a modest position there. So what do I want to do? I can bring my knight out to c4, looking at his king side, and then castle. most direct way to play. And yeah, I can also put my bishop on e3 and maybe a pawn on f3, like that typical structure you see in the Sicilian. Okay, is this a liability here? I can bring this knight out. I can defend it. Can't. He can play here. I guess before I defend it with e3, I'll need to play h3 with bishop e3. So maybe I just retreat when he brings the knight out, or maybe I let it be traded. Okay, so let's castle then. That was the idea here. Then we will play. And now he does this. Okay, yeah, this is the move that I've seen a lot in these situations. And you have to watch out for this. So this is the weakness of the bishop on this square. So just be sure not to block that bishop. He probably will bring his bishop out and pin my knight. I will kick it once and then maybe break the pin. Yeah, so if I kick it and he takes, I'll take with the queen. This is still not a problem. Queen out here, not a problem. Knight here. Yeah, let's kick that bishop. And unpin. So at the moment I can play for knight here, and that will get a trade, and my queen will go to this square. Looks good. Bring a bishop here and a rook here. If I go here and he can move the knight. Let's see, so I go here. If he moves the knight, if he takes his pawn with his knight, I take the bishop. He could take here and then take there. Yeah, maybe I can't actually play what I want to play. Let's start with this move then. The knight is unpinned. And let's not rush things here. Let's just give him a little more stuff to think about here. So the knight comes here, I'll probably just take it. And anyway, I want to lift up my queen and bring a rook over. He wants to push this pawn and then maybe force my knight away from defense here. So we can stop that. Zemwa moved kind of fast during this early part of the game. Maybe he will slow down now and start to think about his moves. It's still okay for black. Aha. He sacrifices a pawn. Maybe he thought I was going to take with the knight, and then he could take here. That's always something to worry about. Okay, I can't take there because of the pin. That's why they give us time. He's still not using any time, is he? Well, we had a fast sequence there. So I think I just bring the bishop back. If he takes, I'll take with the queen. And I'm threatening to take his knight. His queen is looking at this square, this pawn. That was the point of his play. Pretty interesting. But that means he can't take my knight. because if he takes my knight, I'll take back with the bishop, and then this will be protected. Or if he keeps trading, maybe I'll take back with the pawn and hold on to the center. Possibly. Could take back with the queen and give up this pawn. I have the outside pawn over here. Be a pretty even position though, I guess. With 2 pawns against 2 pawns. But there's still hope in the end game. Okay, so I need to take there first. Is that true? You can take here at any time. Can take back. Yeah, I don't think I want to help his queen to get into this space. So he takes my bishop. I was about to say I could take back with the knight, and actually I'm a piece up. So now I can take his bishop, but he can take my knight. So I take the bishop, he takes the knight, I take back. Got 2 pawns here, he could take back with the knight. So he would have a knight and a bishop. I would have a pawn here. He would have a pawn here. It's my turn. My queen is under attack. Bishops are here and here. His knight is here. Good. Step up. Is there a fork there somewhere? Queen, this bishop's out of the way, so the queen could get to here. It'd be forking the bishop and the knight. Interesting. Or the queen could step up here, and I'm Anyway, is there an alternative besides taking the bishop? I could take the knight. He takes the bishop, I take back, and I'm defended here. So when I take the knight, he'll take with the queen, and then my bishop is under attack. I take his bishop, he takes my bishop. And we'd have opposite colored bishops. He'd have doubled pawns. It would be a slightly better position for me, but hard to win. So I think I start here. Try and keep my dark squared bishop on the board. Because if I took, it was inviting. What I was saying is I take here, his queen takes back. And the queen is hitting this bishop, and wasn't sure how that would go. So should I just take here, or is there something better? I could skewer his pieces, but actually it's not a skewer because the knight is defended, and he would take here. I guess it's too dangerous to let that pawn in. And yeah, I'm ganging up on this pawn on d6, but it's not actually an easy pawn to take because he can pin. Well, if he does that, there's no pin. See, if he left the bishop there, I would have to take. But now I can take, I would have to take with the bishop, and he could pin with the rook. That's what I'm saying. You know, bishop here, rook here. But since he moved his bishop away, I can take with the queen. Is there a fork? No, because of the distance here. There is no fork. Okay, so we gained a pawn for what it's worth, and we have the bishop pair. Not too shabby. I'd like to bring this bishop back here. He has the check with the fork, but my bishop is covering it. But yeah, all these loose pieces, it is dangerous. I have a loose bishop here, a loose bishop here. Oh no, this bishop is defended by the queen, so just one loose piece. But I want to get it back. I want to put it back here where it's on a safe spot. So I guess so. The fork is not that dangerous because this bishop is defended. I was forgetting that. Yeah, it's little moments like that when you can tell I'm not a master. Although masters make mistakes sometimes. It's just not that often. Okay, he's defending his knight. Oh, he's putting more pressure on my bishop. No, he's just looking at this bishop. Okay, we'll just withdraw the bishop. I wanted to do this anyway. And he's planning to bring his rook. He's planning to bring his rook here. Is that a problem? Do I have squares I can go to with my queen? I could go here. Yep, I'm okay then. Such a wide open board, it's a little tricky here. This bishop is nicely restricting his knight, so his knight is limited to squares that go to this side of the board. There's a possibility of a pin here. But then, yeah, this skewer would kill me. Maybe that's what he was going for with this trick. With this move, he was tempting me to make the pin. Okay, got my queen on a square, the opposite color of his bishop. Actually, I could put a bishop here. That looks good. So he ran away from that. Okay, I think a queen trade would be helpful here. So let's see if we can arrange that. And he went for it. Oh no, because I left my oh yes, that's what went wrong. Okay, let's see. What do I do? Well, I have to move the king. Then he takes. Do I have anything good at that point? Got a rook and a bishop. And an extra pawn. I'll play on for a bit, I guess. Where's his knight going from here? Let's kick that knight. And And, well, I can activate my rook, I guess. Actually, let's push the pawn. Have a light squared bishop. He did notice that he has an issue with his king. Going to try and activate my rook. Yeah, I thought he might do that. Yeah, it loses this pawn. But if he takes that pawn, yeah, I'm going here with my rook. I'm going to try and clear a path for this pawn. Chase his knight away. Check his king, maybe. Yeah, he's going for another pawn. Oh, that also supports the knight. So I can't easily dislodge that knight. Let's see, so I check, the king steps up. Could go here, hitting the bishop. Oh, we can take it. Yeah. So I've gone on the blink. Okay, so we're gonna resign here. Anyway, that's what happens to me sometimes. Hope you guys enjoyed the session. See you next time. Bye now.